Hello, dear learners. Today we are going to talk about the overview of IELTS examination. So, before moving ahead, let us understand what is the meaning of IELTS or what does IELTS mean. So, IELTS means International English Language Testing System, which is developed and run by the British Council in partnership with IDP Education Australia and Cambridge Assessment English. So IELTS examination has two versions, or there are two versions of this test. First one is IELTS General. So IELTS General for those people who want to migrate or who want to settle down themselves in English speaking countries such as Australia, New Zealand, Canada, England, America, Germany. For this is for like permanent resident or for work permit. Next is IELTS Academic. So IELTS Academic for the people who want to go for higher education, especially English speaking countries. As I mentioned, those countries name in IELTS General. So this is for higher education such as college or university, education for master degree or for bachelor degree or for PhD. Let us move further and understand about its module. So in case of IELTS modules, so it has four modules. It has four modules. Understand one by one. First one is listening. So in case of listening, actually there are two types of IELTS listening. I can say one that happens online or computer based test, and another is pen and paper based. Nowadays in IELTS listening, people are allowed to use black ball pen. So in case of pen and paper listening, there will be the listening test will be for 30 minutes plus 10 minutes. 10 minutes for what? 10 minutes for transferring your answers to answer sheet. And there will be four sections in this part. Altogether, there will be 40 questions. I can say part 1 and part 4 will be academic speech, whereas part 2 and part 4 will be a kind of a monologue. There will be 40 questions in this part. In case of reading, let us understand the reading section. Reading section goes for 60 minutes. There are three sections. So there are three sections, or I can say there are three passages. Three sections, three passages. And the questions will be around 40 questions in reading part. 13, 13 and 40. 14, 13, 13 and 14. So altogether there will be 40 questions. Talking about writing part, so writing goes for 60 minutes, which consists two writing tasks. So here, your answer for task 1 should have a minimum of 150 words. So the minimum length of task 1 is 150 words and maximum we can go for 180 words. In case of writing task 2, the minimum length required is 250 words, along with maximum we can go 280 words. What if in case of speaking? So speaking goes for 11 to 14 minutes and it has three parts. So I can say this part of the test will be a recorded part. Next, let us understand time schedule and scoring. So the test goes for 2 hours 45 minutes. 2 hours 45 minutes, and we can choose computer based test as well as pen and paper based test. So listening, reading and writing must be taken on the same day. I mean to say that listening, reading and writing may happen or may happen same day in order listed above, such as listening, reading and writing. What if in case of speaking? So speaking is generally scheduled up to 7 days before or after the rest of the components. Talking about the scoring criteria, so IELTS score goes between 0 to 9 bands. So each component of the test is given a band. The average of the four scores produces the overall band score that goes 0 to 9. In this case, in terms of scoring parameter of IELTS, generally we are not fail or not pass. We get a lump sum score. Moving further, what could be the marking criteria of IELTS writing and speaking tasks? So let us understand. In case of writing, so first of all, understand writing. Writing will be for 1 hour, and there are four parameters where your writing is measured. One is task achievement. So whatever the length you are suggested to write, as I told you earlier, that one has to write a minimum of 150 words in case of task 1 and maximum of 250 words in case of task 2. So in case of task 1, one has to go with 150 words. So try to cover the length of the task along with maintain coherence and cohesion. So what does it mean about coherence and cohesion? So coherence and cohesion means whatever you are writing or your ideas are connected from beginning to end, or from first to last, or top to bottom. It means do not try to divert yourself from the topic. In case of lexical resource, one must use a wide range of vocabulary in form of synonyms, antonyms to justify his or her points. But the task 1 or task 2 should contain definitely a wide range of vocabulary and try to avoid the repetition of the vocabulary. Next one is grammatical range and accuracy. This is quite clear that grammatical range, it means your writing should contain the multiple structures of various structures, and it should be free from the same type of a structure. So better to avoid repetition of the same structure over and over. So this is for the scoring criteria of IELTS writing. What if we go for speaking part? So in speaking part, again, it has four criteria of speaking. One is fluency and coherence. What if I talk about fluency? So fluency means you are maintaining a rate of speech or a rhythm, and you are going in a same pace. You are not going, either you are not going in a too fast manner or too slow manner. So maintain a moderate level of speech along with coherence means the connections of the thoughts should be to the point, and whatever you are speaking, you are expressing your thoughts and justifying your opinions in a logical way. I have already discussed about lexical resource and grammatical range and accuracy. So these 2 points are also the part of speaking. So lexical resource means try to use wide range of vocabulary over and over, or try to change. You can use synonyms or antonyms, or try to avoid weak adjectives, such as, what if I say very big? So instead of very big, I can say immense. So better to pick such kind of words, immense, or I can say very big. So like right now I'm able to collect one meaning right now only. So we can pick very big, immense, or it is huge, or we can say, okay. So you can use only such kind of adjective or strong adjective. What if in case of grammatical range and accuracy? So use wide range of grammatical structures. So try to use some passive voice of modals auxiliary verbs, tenses, and some passive voice of double auxiliary verbs or imperative sentences to make your speaking more fascinating or attractive. Let's move further. In case of IELTS listening, you need to understand what are the sections and what sort of questions we can face or come across. So IELTS listening has 4 components which contains 40 questions. Section 1 contains 10 questions. where there will be a conversation between two speakers in an everyday social situation. So this is conversation. So section 1 and section 3, if you read, a conversation between 2 to 4 people. So section 1 and section 3 will be a kind of a conversation. At the same time, section 2 and section 4 will be a monologue, or will be a one-way discussion, or a kind of a speech. And each section contains 10 questions. Altogether, it becomes 40 questions. Moving further, let us understand about more detail about the question types in listening question types. So the question type in listening that we can face, that form completion, note completion, summary completion, table completion, sentence completion, multiple choice, diagram labeling, and map labeling along with form chart. So these are the question types of IELTS listening. Moving further, let us understand about the reading module. In case of reading module, so as I discussed that reading goes for 1 hour. Yes, it is for 1 hour, and it has three components or three passages, and those passages contain questions like 13, and 14. Altogether, it becomes 40 questions. There are two types of reading module. One is for academic reading, or another is for general reading. So in case of academic test, generally we come across the text from authentic sources such as magazine, journals, books, and newspapers. What if I talk about general training text? So that comes from advertisement, leaflets, instructions, and manuals. There will be 40 questions that has to be done in 60 minutes. Now, I'm going to talk about the writing part. But before moving writing part, I would love to talk about the question types of reading. So the more challenging question types are true, false, not given, yes, no, not given, and summary completion, multiple choice, or choose a title. Next is I'm talking the question types in sequence. One is matching the headings, true, false, not given, yes, no, not given, match paragraph information, summary completion, sentence completion, multiple choice, list selection, choosing a title, table flow chart, diagram completion, and short answer. Now I'm going to talk about writing part. So in case of writing part, IELTS writing contains two types of tasks. One is task 1, another is task 2. As I discussed in the previous slide that the task 1 needs to be written minimum with 150 words and maximum of 180 words. What if we go for task 2? So task 2 is essay writing that goes for minimum of 250 words and maximum of 280 words. Okay. In case of speaking, I'm talking about speaking part. So speaking goes for 11 to 14 minutes, and it has three parts. Part 1 is intro part or introduction based. That will go for 4 to 5 minutes. And in this part, the examiner asks the candidate questions about familiar topics such as family and friends, hobbies, and favorite foods, and one has to speak over it. Next part is part 2, which is widely known as cue card question. In cue card question, a person will be given for a topic, and one will get 1 minute or 60 seconds time to prepare his or her answer, and one has to speak for 2 minutes. Fine. Part third is the follow-up questions, which is widely known as two-way discussion. So in this question type, the examiner asks the candidate some abstract questions related to any social topic, such as education, sports, historical places. So part 1 goes for 4 to 5 minutes, part 2 goes for 3 to 4 minutes, and part 3 goes for 4 to 5 minutes. Altogether, it goes for 11 to 14 minutes. So we will discuss about more about IELTS, but in next video we will discuss in section wise.